everyone, and you're so much welcome to today's tutorial, and I still remain your most wealthy shoemaking made easy tutor, Hodurole Mojibola. Today I'm teaching us how to create this Unisex sandal slide. Now I am going to be pleading with those who are watching my channel for the first time. Please subscribe to my channel, press the notification bell so that each time I upload a video you will be notified. Now I need you to do something for me. Sit back and I'm gonna be right back. Now we're going to be starting with our pattern. Now this is actually quite simple design. Like I said, it's actually a simple slippers. Now this can actually be made for a man, and you can also make it for a woman. So in real sense, it's actually a unisex style. So the first thing is you need a strap with about 2 inches wide. That's about 2 inches wide, depending on the size you are working with. So I need 2 inches wide. For my size is about size 28 and about 11 inches long. So that is for this particular size, although it may be too long actually as a strap for size 38. But if you are working with other size, just work with respect to your size. So sorry for that huge noise. So now to our tongue. The tongue part is actually also very simple, and I'm going to be showing us briefly how you can actually create that particular part. Now the first thing we're going to be doing is we're going to be drawing a rectangle about 13 inches long. Let me allow us to see. This is 13, so it's going to be about 13 inches long. 13 inches long, but the width, it's better that it should be about 2.5 or 2. It depends on the size you are working with, please, but on the average 2.5 should be okay for any size you want to work with, because all they need is just for something to enter into the tongue and the remaining part will be on their feet. But if you want to make it as wide as 3, probably for somebody wearing 42 upwards or 41 upwards, you can decide to do that. So let's say I'm using 3 here. This is 3. I just use this line as a center for what I am drawing now. That's what I just did, but it still remains 3 centimeter wide. So as you can see, this is what we have now. This is 13 centimeter by 3 centimeters. So for us to be able to get the shape that we have on our slippers, on our unisex slippers, we are just going to come right here to reduce what we have here. So I'm going to reduce this. Instead of this side to be 3, I'm going to reduce it to about 1.5. So it means this is my center, so I have about a 0.5. This is 0.5, and we have a 0.75 here. I'll come to this side. This is 0.5, and I'll come to 0.75 here. So from here to here is our 0.5, and from here to here is also our 0.75. So I just want to make this side a little bit, tiny. I don't want it to be as wide as the lower part. So the reason is because by the time you want to insert your tongue, it will be easy for you to actually insert your toe guard. For those that have been following me, you should know what I mean by toe guard, and I'm going to be showing us as we continue. So all I need to do is just to trace what I have here out, because by the time it's too wide, your toe guard may not be able to enter into it, except you are creating a leather toe guard by yourself. And at the same time, that place should not be too wide so that it doesn't begin to discomfort the feet. So I'm sure with this now you can see that we already have our pattern created. All we need to do now is just to go ahead and use. Now for this pattern, for this particular design, we have 3 different patterns. It depends on which one you want to go for. So I'm going to be showing us how to actually create the one with a 2 pattern. But if you want to use the 3 pattern as well, all you need to do is for this particular one, instead of 3, make use of about 2 centimeter here and make use of about 1 centimeter on this side. So at the end of the day, of course, it will not be as wide as this, it will be tiny, but you are going to be having something that looks a little bit like what I have here. So it depends on you. Now for this design, I need you to know, if you don't want to stitch, you are very free. All you need to do is place your pattern on your leather. After placing it, cut all of the patterns, cut it out from your leather. Then line it. When you want to line, ensure that you apply your contact cement adhesive on your leather as well as on the leather you are using to line. So many times people have asked me, what is the difference between leather and lining? Now I need you to know that what makes it a lining is because you are using it actually for the under part of your upper. What makes it a lining is whatever you use to actually line your sandal, whatever you put inside is what we call lining. So it doesn't matter whether it's a synthetic leather or it's a genuine leather, but as long as it is inside, it's not the major one that is everybody's going to be seeing outside. It remains a lining. So we use leather for lining. It's not as if there's some special material that is used for lining. For the sewing mistress, they have a lot of materials that they use as lining as well. Most times they don't use the same clothing for their lining. They don't use the same fabric. But if you want to use the same leather, it's all fine. If you want to get another one, it's all fine. So your kind of materials, your kind of leather, whether it's thick or soft, will determine whatever lining you want to use. Your main leather, if it is thick, you can decide to use a soft lining, and if it is soft, you can decide to use a hard leather, a thicker leather to line it. I hope you understand what I'm trying to say, because people have asked me a lot of times, what's the difference between lining and leather? Your leather is still your lining. What you use it for makes it a lining. I hope that explained that. So let's go right into full tutorial for our slippers. I'm sure now you can cut the patterns. It's quite simple. So we're just going to go ahead and last. I'm going to be using 5 by 3.5 for this size 38. Don't forget you can use this 5 by 3.5 for any size as long as it's an adult size, both male and for female sizes. Go ahead and pencil your tongue and insert it into it. So by the time you insert that, ensure that you actually pull it out to wherever you want it to stop. So the size you are working with will be so determinant for the length of your tongue. So you can see what I have here. Place this, I'm placing the bigger strap just for us to be able to position our tongue properly so that it aligns with the center of our foot. So go ahead, you can see what I just did there. I'm just trying to make you see what I have done. I'm going to punch it right on top of it. Now you can do all of this on your pattern. What I do is I do on my pattern and keep, so that subsequently I don't have to go through the same process again. So duplicate it on the other leg and do the same thing all around. Then you can insert your last, just for you to be able to know where exactly to actually position the wider strap, because that is actually very important. And hula, you find out that you are through with this particular design. It's actually very simple. I'm going to be using rivet to hold that side down. You can decide to stitch your own, it doesn't matter. So it's all your choice, whichever way you want to actually go. Now you have another strap coming from the back. It's your choice. I'm not going to be using this in this video. It's your choice if you want to, but I'll show you how you can go about it. Yes, now you can see what our final product look like. Now, if you want to use this particular strap on this other side, it's also fine. You can decide to also stitch on that particular side, or you rivet it down. You can see I use rivet to hold it. And instead of using 2 rivets on this side, I use a buckle strap to hold it down. So I will end up inserting my strap into it. So I don't intend to use buckle, so that's why I didn't bother. So if you want to do that, of course, you can go ahead and do that. I've explained to us how you can cut that side. I'm sure with this you should be able to create these simple slippers, which is actually a unisex style for either male or female. Thank you for watching, and I'm going to see you next time. Bye.